1949. China was falling apart behind him. Mao's army had swept through everything. The land, the order, the whole world Ip Man had grown up inside. He walked into Hong Kong with the clothes on his back, decades of knowledge living inside his hands, and a name that meant everything in martial arts circles, and meant absolutely nothing to the British colonial officers who stamped his papers without glancing up. 56 years old, hollowed out by opium. His wife and children were still on the other side of that border, unable to follow. A grandmaster who had become a refugee overnight. And somewhere out in Hong Kong's hot, crowded streets, a man was already waiting. A man who had spent months telling anyone who would listen that Wing Chun, the art Ip Man had given his entire life to, was built on lies. His name was Kam Shanhua, younger, stronger, connected in ways that mattered inside Hong Kong's underground martial arts world. He had trained for decades under a rival lineage, one that believed their version of Wing Chun was the real one, the pure one. When Ip Man's reputation crossed that border ahead of him and started spreading through Kowloon's streets, Kam Shanhua felt something harden inside him. Because if Ip Man was the true master, then everything Kam had built his identity around was worthless, and he had not given 40 years to becoming worthless. So the challenge went out the old way. Through tea house conversations, through quiet evening gatherings where fighters talked low. Not publicly. That was deliberate. The old way meant no escape routes, no face-saving excuses, no political maneuvering. What it meant, stripped down to its bones, was this: show up or lose everything you still have. Ip Man's students knew before he told them. Gossip always moves faster than the man carrying the message. They found him in his small apartment near the Kowloon resettlement blocks. What they saw stopped them cold. He was not pacing, not angry. He was sitting still, hands quiet in his lap, eyes carrying that distant look he got when he was working through something none of them could see yet. They pleaded with him. He was too old for this, they said. His health had suffered. The opium had taken real years from him. Kam Shanhua was in his prime, well-rested, well-fed, fighting on ground he knew. The risk was not just losing the fight. One bad fall, one serious injury, one moment where his body failed him, and everything he was trying to build here would be finished before it ever started. He heard every word. He nodded. Then he told them he was going. What they couldn't fully see was the math of it. This wasn't pride in any simple sense. This was survival. In Hong Kong, Ip Man had nothing. No savings, no property, no connections that carried weight in a British colony that tolerated his presence without exactly welcoming it. What he had was Wing Chun. What he had was the knowledge his body carried, handed down across generations, proven across a lifetime. Now a man was publicly calling that knowledge a fiction. If Kam Shanhua won, if the fight even ended without a clear result, Ip Man was done. No students would seek him out. No school would exist. The lineage he'd carried all this way would disappear quietly in a forgotten Kowloon apartment. He understood every piece of that. His face gave away none of it. The location came together without announcement. A rooftop in the older part of Kowloon, the kind of place you only found if someone told you where to go. No crowd, no ceremony. The men who witnessed it were practitioners themselves, people who understood without being told that certain things stay inside certain walls. This wasn't a tournament, wasn't a demonstration. This was the old world handling something the new world had no proper name for. Kam Shanhua walked in, carrying the kind of confidence that doesn't need to announce itself. He wasn't performing. He genuinely believed his system was better, his body was stronger, that the outcome had already been decided by time itself, and the fight was just making it official. He looked across that rooftop at this older man moving slightly stiff in the evening air and saw exactly what he expected to see. He missed what was actually standing there. Ip Man didn't hold himself the way fighters usually do. No aggression in the shoulders, no visible preparation for violence. To someone who didn't know him, he looked almost bored, but his students watching from the edges of that rooftop recognized it immediately. That specific stillness. They had felt it in training sessions. They'd thrown hands at him and found nothing there, the space where he'd been somehow already empty. That stillness wasn't calm. That stillness was the most quietly frightening thing any of them had ever been close to. The fight was short. Real fights usually are, and this one especially resisted the kind of long, dramatic shape that stories prefer to give these moments. Kam Shanhua moved first, fast and genuinely skilled, throwing a combination that would have ended most confrontations on the spot. He hit air. Ip Man had moved in a way that barely registered as movement, his body simply somewhere else now, and then his hands were already doing what they needed to do, not explosive or showy, but something far stranger to witness. Exact, unavoidable, like watching a lock close on a door with no other way out. Kam adjusted. He was good enough to understand in real time that something had gone badly wrong with his assumptions. He shifted his approach, tried different entries, came from different angles. Every time, Ip Man was already where he was going, already past it, already somewhere else. It wasn't speed in the usual sense. It was that his movement was so stripped of waste that he seemed to operate on a completely different clock than everyone else on that rooftop, working inside a tighter geometry that nobody else could access. When it was over, Kam Shanhua was on the ground. Not badly hurt. Ip Man had controlled even that right to the end, but he was beaten in a way that left no room for anyone to interpret it differently. Every man on that rooftop understood what they'd just watched. It wasn't just one fighter defeating another. It was a proof. A living argument made and answered through the only language this world actually trusted. No celebration. Ip Man didn't look around at the witnesses. He stood breathing quietly for a moment, then walked over to where Kam Shanhua was pulling himself up from the ground and extended his hand. Not as a gesture, not for the audience, just as the final period at the end of what had needed saying. Kam Shanhua took it. He stood up. Whatever he said, if he said anything, nobody recorded it. He was gone from Hong Kong within the year. The challenge to Ip Man's legitimacy went with him. The story stayed quiet because both men understood that making noise about it helped neither of them. The witnesses kept it close, passing it the way real knowledge travels, not through writing, not through public record, but through the mouths of people who understood what it was worth and who deserved to hear it. Ip Man never mentioned it. He opened his school, he taught, he built the thing that Bruce Lee would eventually carry into the entire world's living rooms. He died in 1972. The secret stayed buried inside the men who had stood on that rooftop. What he had proven that evening in Kowloon was never announced anywhere. It was simply known by the people it needed to reach, the way true things are always known, not from proclamation, but from the long unbroken silence of those who saw something they still couldn't explain and never once forgot.